first time he's ever introduced me without telling a bad joke. So, I appreciate that, Senator. Thank you for that nice introduction and for laying off the corny stuff this morning. I'm just sat down here at the table with Delegate Mike McKay and Delegate Wendell Beitzel, and I want to tell you that Senator Edwards and your delegates from Mountain Maryland and the rest of the great delegation we have representing all of Western Maryland do an incredible job representing you. And you should be proud of them. They do a great job here in Annapolis. I want to also thank Pace and every one of you here today. It looks like you brought the entire Mountain Maryland cavalry in today. Great crowd. Thank you very much for being here. You've all been incredible partners throughout the first 2 years, and it is finally 2 years now, George. He said it was 2 years about 6 months ago. It just seems like I've been here longer. It seems like 10 years, I think, sometimes. But we can't thank you enough for what you do for Mountain Maryland, for your entire region, and for the state of Maryland. When I was sworn in as governor 2 years ago, I said that the war on rural Maryland was over. And I meant what I said. We promised that Western Maryland would no longer be ignored, forgotten, or neglected. We said that there would no longer be a disconnect between Annapolis and Western Maryland. And we meant what we said. We've been doing exactly what we said we would do. We've made countless and very productive trips to all 3 counties in Western Maryland. And as soon as I got the all clear for my doctors to be able to travel again after going through 24-hour-a-day chemotherapy treatment, the very first place that we visited was again Western Maryland. And we had a jam-packed 4-day tour all over almost every corner of Western Maryland. We held our first ever regional cabinet meeting at the Maryland Theater in Hagerstown. I think the headline in the Hagerstown Herald said we hadn't seen this many state officials here since during the Civil War when the state was talking about seceding from the Union. So that's pretty good. But we toured the cardiovascular unit at the Western Maryland Regional Medical Center. We made some important funding announcements at the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office. We participated in a great small business roundtable at Frostburg University. We met with the presidents of Allegheny Community College and Garrett Community College. Had the opportunity to speak at the first ever Technology at the Gap conference at the Rocky Gap Casino Resort. We visited the historic Rose Hill Cemetery, spoke to kids at Bester Elementary. We visited Queen Anne City Creamery in Cumberland, which was one of the highlights. Got to eat that unbelievable ice cream. And I think we had 38 events packed into 4 days in all 3 counties. And then we came back again for the Autumn Glory Festival and Parade, which was just an absolutely beautiful day. And we enjoyed it very much. Right before the holidays, we were back in Hagerstown to announce that shovels were in the ground. The work is underway to widen I-81 between US 11 and West Virginia and Maryland 63. In Maryland, we also made another very special announcement that day that our administration is committing more than $7 million to the revitalization of downtown Hagerstown. And for 2 years now, we have made it a priority to make sure that Marylanders all across Western Maryland know that with our administration, they're going to find a sympathetic ear. You'll have a seat at the table and a governor and, in fact, an entire administration that is working and fighting hard for you each and every day. The focus of our administration has been on improving Maryland's economy, helping companies expand, and trying to create more jobs for our citizens. And let's not forget where we came from. In the year just before I took office, businesses, jobs, and taxpayers were fleeing our state in droves Sadly, Maryland had lost 8,000 businesses and 100,000 jobs, and our state's overall economic performance ranked 49th out of 50 states. More than 2/3 of all Marylanders thought that our state was heading in the wrong direction and was way off track, and then a Gallup poll showed that nearly half of all Marylanders wanted to leave the state. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me, as a small businessman who had never held elective office. It's what made me decide that I was going to run for governor to try to do something about that. And since January 21 of 2015, we've been doing exactly what we said we would do. We're making Maryland more competitive and creating a more business-friendly future for our state. We immediately, on day one, eliminated over 100 job-killing regulations that the previous governor tried to push through in the closing hours of his administration. We're now following through on the recommendations of our Regulatory Reform Commission to eliminate a couple of hundred more. And the day after I was sworn in, I submitted the first balanced budget in a decade, which eliminated nearly all of the $5.1 billion structural deficit which we inherited, and we did it without raising taxes. In fact, we actually cut taxes, something almost unheard of here in Maryland. So far, we've cut taxes by $700 million. We've reduced or eliminated 255 fees all across state government, saving $120 million. We cut tolls at every single facility in the state. The first time tolls have been cut in 50 years, saving the taxpayers $270 million. And we put all of this money back into our economy and back into the pockets of struggling Maryland families and small businesses. When I ran for governor, I promised that we would take immediate steps to address our state's transportation infrastructure. After 8 years of neglect and mismanagement, and after $1 billion had been improperly siphoned from the Transportation Trust Fund, we had crumbling roads and bridges and the second worst traffic in the nation. So we took action immediately, doing exactly what we said we would do. We're finally moving forward on nearly all of the most important top priority road projects in every single jurisdiction all across the state. We inherited 65 structurally deficient bridges, and we're fixing every single one of them. We invested an additional $2 billion in transportation projects. We currently have $8.4 billion worth of transportation projects in 1,073 different projects, all currently under construction from one end of the state to the other. It's historic and it's unprecedented. Unfortunately, during the previous legislative session, the legislature passed a transportation bill that threatens to stop all of that progress. There's been a lot of misinformation out there about this bill, but contrary to what some of my friends across the aisle have been saying, the reality is that the new regulations for this bill take effect on February 10th, which is fast approaching. And under the new criteria from this bill, 66 of the top 73 priority projects desperately needed in all 24 jurisdictions simply will not be able to move forward. In Western Maryland, every single member of the delegation stood strongly with us and voted unanimously against this terrible bill. But the citizens of Mountain Maryland will still unfortunately suffer if we don't do something about this. If this bill is not repealed, Allegheny County will lose your critical funding to upgrade and relocate US 220, Maryland 53, from I-68 to Crescenttown. Garrett County will lose funding for the US 219 Oakland Bypass Project. If this bill is not repealed, Western Maryland would also lose important I-70 interchange improvements and I-81 construction from the West Virginia line to the Pennsylvania line. I don't have to tell any of you here today that moving forward on critical priority infrastructure is important to our local jurisdictions and to economic development. And we need your help. Your legislators need your help to convince some of their colleagues to get this legislation repealed. Over the past 2 years, we've made incredible progress. 2015 was the best year for business in Maryland in 15 years. It was the best year for job growth in 15 years. And we've added 73,000 new jobs here in Maryland. A recent ranking of the overall economic performance of all 50 states now puts Maryland into the top 10 states in the United States of America for economic performance. That's pretty good. During the last administration, our state had lost 20% of its manufacturing base and 30,000 manufacturing jobs, some of them from your area of the state. Over the past 2 years, we've had an incredible resurgence in manufacturing in Maryland. We've created more manufacturing jobs than all of the states in the Mid-Atlantic region added together. And we've gone from one of the worst in the country to number 7 in the nation in the rate of manufacturing growth. We're very proud that Maryland as a whole has the second lowest percentage of people living below the poverty rate in the country, and that we have the highest median household income in America. We're experiencing tremendous job growth and business growth and an exciting economic resurgence in Maryland. 3/4 of all Marylanders now approve of the job that together we have been doing, and now they strongly believe that Maryland is headed in the right direction rather than the wrong direction. And let me just share a few of our recent success stories in your counties. Allegheny Steel Building Solutions brought 25 new jobs. I participated in the ribbon cutting for the Love's very first travel plaza in the state of Maryland, which brought 70 new jobs to Cumberland. Corbin Clinical Resources in Allegheny County is expanding. And in Garrett County, the expansion of Total Biz Fulfillment is adding more jobs. Pinnacle Foods added a new manufacturing facility and bringing 125 jobs to Western Maryland. And Dot Foods announced that they're expanding in Washington County. Businesses are returning to and expanding in our state once again. Maryland truly is open for business. But we're just getting started, and a lot of more hard work lies ahead so that we can continue making progress for Mountain Maryland and Western Maryland. A few weeks ago, we announced our administration's new Maryland Jobs Initiative. And the first part of this initiative is the More Jobs for Maryland Act, which will incentivize and encourage manufacturers to create more jobs in areas where unemployment is highest. That includes Western Maryland, Baltimore City, and the Lower Eastern Shore. And this is where the unemployment is higher and they need the jobs the most. So for any new manufacturing company that comes to Maryland and creates jobs in our most troubled areas where we have higher unemployment, we're going to waive all state taxes for 10 years. That's quite an incentive to come out to Maryland. In addition, to encourage our existing Maryland manufacturers to add more jobs in these targeted employment zones, we will provide a tax credit for them for every single job that they create. We invested $2 million in fiscal year 2017 for the Rural Maryland Prosperity Investment Fund. It was the first time in history that it's ever been funded by a governor, even though it's been on the books for years. This year, our fiscal 2018 budget includes $4 million for this important fund. We continue to be fully supportive and engaged with the Appalachian Regional Commission, which I serve on. We're making critical investments in job training through our nationally recognized Earn Maryland program, which has already provided job training to more than 1,700 unemployed and underemployed Marylanders, and with more than 82% of them obtaining full-time employment. This important program is helping us address the skill gaps in growing fields so that more people, including Marylanders in your counties, can get good paying, skilled jobs. We're working to expand tourism in the state, particularly in Western Maryland, which is filled with natural assets, and you are definitely an important part of those tourism efforts. Our state welcomed more than 40 million visitors last year, generating $17 billion in spending for the state. Tourism is a powerful industry and important to our economy, which is why we were proud to work with you to finally reopen the Sidling Hill Welcome Center and the Youghiogheny Overlook Welcome Center to greet people when they come into our state. We're continuing to make important investments in Project Open Space. Our fiscal 2018 budget includes $180 million for environmental programs, including $40 million for Project Open Space. That would have otherwise been redirected to the general fund, which is what's happened every other year. Working together, we're making real progress for Western Maryland, and our administration is absolutely committed to continuing on this new path. But we simply cannot do it without the help of all of you in this room here this morning. So I want to thank you again for your contributions to the state and to your region, and say that I believe with your help, with all of us working together, that we can and we will continue to change Maryland for the better. So thank you very much for having me.